Verses of Enchantment. Okay, so I was told to play this by a friend. I've been putting it off and putting it off. Not intentionally. It's just what I've been doing because I'm a bad potty tat. But Verses of Enchantment. I was told that it was a card game about poetry. I have no idea what that means. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take a look at the gallery first. Welcome to the gallery. Here you can browse all the public domain artwork featured in the game. If you want to filter shown artworks, you can use the filter on the left-hand side. Okay. Oh, these are beautiful. These are absolutely beautiful. Oh no! Oh no! I just realized that I'm going to have to make artwork, thumbnails to compete with this. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh, what have I done to myself? Oh, Fallen Angel, Alexander Cabanel, Bearded Man. Oh, these are lovely. I just don't think I can compete with these. Judith slaying Holofernes. Beware a woman named Judith. If there's a woman named Judith, then someone absolutely knows the why as to that name, and they raise their daughter according to that name. So be very careful of Judiths. Anguish. Oh, poor sheepy. Madeline grieving. Wow, they are using a lot of public artwork. Vinitas at Still Life? Didn't I see that further up here? Oh, okay. It was another Vinitas. Adrian Vandol? Am I enunciating that correctly? Yeah, I have to apologize. I have to apologize. I only have a... No, this is an entirely different artist. Vinitas Still Life with books and leaflets. What's with Vinitas? I need to go ahead and look up this term at some point. Contempt, in contempt of hate. I don't know, and this guy looks pretty hateful. I'm not gonna lie. Vinitas. A lot of people like Vinitas. Storm in the Mountains. John White Alexander. Lady. True. That is a lady. Head of a young woman. Debatable. Have I actually ever told you my theory as to Le Desperate? Le Despere. Gustave Courbet. Have I ever told you my theory is that that a lot of modern art has stripped out love light? Like, I don't get the sense that a lot of people are in love with their canvas anymore. Like, no one's trying to show the best side of their subject. Soap bubbles, young Greek attending a cockfight. St. George defeating the dragon. Tiny dragon. Itty bitty dragon. Joan of Arc. The crystal ball. Watch her ponder. Man wearing a turban and armor. Boy as a shepherd. I can only hope to acquire this level of skill someday. More than you think, less than you know. Disdain. That looks pretty disdainful. More crestfallen, really. No, but actually, this is an excellent example of what I was talking about. This woman, not the prettiest, but you can tell that the artist was in love with the subject. Like, he wanted to go ahead and show her in her best form. And as a result, she looks lovely. I feel like not enough artists take liberty to make their subject look lovely. You can be perfectly accurate in your render, and completely deceitful as to what they look like in person. And Shepherd. Oh. Okay. Enough of this. Enough of this. Nope. Title. Back to title. Let's go ahead and check the options. Visuals. Enable tutorial. Reset tutorial. Visual sans serif font. No, I like the that one. System cursor. Underline words. Highlighted words in poetry will be underlined and further annotated. Colorblind correction difficulty medium. Just opponent AI during. What is the difference? I suppose I can always adjust this later. It started on medium. We'll go with medium. Credits. Bebe Donna, Evelyn Park, Rupert Cole, Titi Lola Cuckoo. I apologize, Titi. Ebe Deno, Rupert Cole. Okay, so the writers and the programmer and animator, voice actress Iona Campbell, Richie DeWitt, Louis Gaston. Is this a French game? Oh no, not another French game. Marketing team. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and try it out. Cards collected. Travel the world to meet wizards and learn magic. Practice your skill against someone you have met on your travels. 1 to 2 players. Face off against experienced wizards and while you build your deck as you go. Okay, well, I guess I'll start with the campaign. There are 100 cards. I have no idea how to play this. Let's find out.
An ancient land where magic and poetry are one and the same.
I suck at poetry.
The Isles of prose. Throughout the ages, scholars became wizards, attaining mythical status by perfecting their art in epic duels.
Doubt that.
Those who had the means to learn this craft were able to devote their lives to the poetic arts. Over time, magic was considered somehow inherent, passed down through bloodlines. However, at the dawn of the Third Age, at the heart of the Isle's finest academy, a young wizard discovered a searing truth that could unravel the very fabric of high society. There was great uproar amid the magical elite. A decision was cast, and word spread across the lands. It was easier to shun one defiant wizard than sully the status quo. Despite the Academy considering the matter dealt with, there remained many wizards that deemed the discovery unforgivable. He had no choice but to flee in fear of his safety. Thus, the wizard's life was confined to the sleepy isle of Old Walland. Forced to adopt a slower pace, he found love with a woman and raised her child as his own. Even the new father's provincial home couldn't quell his love for the poetic arts. He saw great potential in the child's curiosity and became determined to instill in them the foundation of magic. Years later, as the heir of your father's discovery, it is your turn to become a wizard and master the poetic
Papa,
arts.
I shall make you proud.
Verses of Enchantment.
I have no skill for poetry, by the way. I've never honed the craft. After learning the basics of magic from your father, you set out to test your skill against the traveling wizards in the countryside. Will your prose hold up under the scrutiny? Absolutely not. Welcome to the campaign. Let's go over the interface. This is you, packed and ready to start your adventure. Yay. To move to another location, press the dotted road in between you and your destination. Press. Press. Oh, you have to wait. Okay. Travel. Negred. On your travels, you meet other wizards to learn magic from. To interact with them, press their portrait tile on the map. From here, you can see some extra information about the wizard you encounter. On top, you can find the wizard's portrait, name, title, and preview of their deck of cards. Whenever a wizard shares the same location as you, they might start to talk to you. A history of your conversation will appear here. Likewise, when you share locations, you can challenge them to a duel. Winning a duel is the main way to earn new cards and progress the story of Verses of Enchantment. You ventured out from your home to learn in poetry? How wonderful. Can I teach you what I know? So how about we have a duel? Okay. Here you can see what cards the selected wizard has in their deck. Some of these cards have a glittering effect, which means you can collect them by defeating their owners in a duel. Okay. So, Lake, inflict one... Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh no. Magic the prosening. Let me see what I can do here. Welcome to the magical duel, a battle between wizards. Let's go over the details of this interface. This is you, looking good. And try to be the last wizard standing by the end of this duel to win. This is your health. If your health is depleted, you will be defeated and you will need to rest before venturing forth. This is your deck of cards. Your played cards will be discarded next to it. And this is your hand. At the start of your turn, draw 3 cards from your deck. You can hover over your cards to enlarge them and get detailed info. Some of your cards have special conditions. If they are fulfilled, they'll sparkle. In the middle, we have a selection area. Select cards go here. Every turn, you'll choose 3 cards to play by selecting them one by one. And finally, we have the right button. When you have selected 3 cards, you can end your turn and trigger their effects by pressing it. There's a little more to than this, but experience is the best teacher. Choose the 3 cards and press the right button yourself. Okay. Deal 50% less damage. I mean, let's start with that. Soul burn. Let's start that. And silence, sun, and fire. This is your opponent for this duel. They'll do their best to harm your health, so be careful. Conversely, bringing their health to 0, you'll win in the duel. Fire, lake, and sea. After your opponent has selected their cards, you can take your time to read them over. Once you're ready, you can press to confirm and let their card effects play out. Okay. At the start of your turn, and the last 3 cards you played are used to generate a poem. Names of the cards are used as themes to write an original verse of enchantment. The sunburn and that lasts to red, a glory like a starry fire that filled the silence and as it fled, or sank into depths of the night. Some like a great sun with all his might. In this poem, words that are also card names or synonymous of card names are highlighted. You can hover over the words to see their synonyms. Some cards use these highlighted words as conditions to trigger their effect. Greed needs 2 words of type brilliance to present in the last poem. Other cards require a certain highlighted word type to be represented the most. If your last poem contains more passion words than any other word type, this card condition is filled. The cards you play every turn influence the poetry of your next turn, so try to play cards and produce beautiful, useful poetry. Oh, I don't get to write poetry? And just the AI does it for me? I'm not sure I like that. I was promised poetry. Let's see here. Gloom. Let's see here. Duty, heartbreak, and wait. If your last poem contains mostly gloom words, inflict 2 disparate. And gloom. Let's try that. Fire in lake. As a bird in the lake is caught a little longer by the light of his warm fire, he flies and flings his wings around the sea, and through a space of blackness brings to him as an angel. Okay. Can't restore any more health. Okay. Status effects are an effective way to strengthen yourselves or weaken your opponent. Hover over them to see an explanation of what they do. The number next to the symbol represents the number of turns before it disappears. So next turn, it disappears. Duty, tears, and sword. We are dust to men and tears, and our only words our souls recall. When life's sharp sword is in its sheath, then forget it as past is past. Its duty lies, forget that death. Okay, I guess the spirit. If your last poem contains a brilliance word, inflict 2 soul burn. And I guess we can go ahead and just storm. Memory, forest, and storm. So far, the poetry aspect doesn't really come up to much. It's just an AI reading off poetry. I'd much rather be able to try to match with the AI at least. And I know that's like fighting an unarmed opponent, but I think I could manage. Courage, flower, tears. For a brief and glorious hour, give me courage to renew all strength I lost before. Wash my tears as that they may flow. Take them sweetly, oh, for thou art good. Thou that sittest in the flower. Is that a poem? For a brief glorious hour, that sittest in the flower. Give me courage to renew. Give me courage to renew all the strength that I lost before. Wash my tears that they may flow. Take them sweetly, oh, for thou art good. Yeah, I'm not really feeling the poetic cadence in that. The only thing that really rhymes is brief glorious hour, and thou that sittest on the flower. It's a nice couplet, I suppose. Memory, forest, and storm. When the storm was fierce and loud, and higher its thunderous horse, I left my love to cloud by that forest of memory, where it sleeps in many a nook. It has been that though never shook. When the storm was fierce and loud, I left my love to a cloud. Horse and memory don't really go together, do they? Dut, 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 dut. Maybe I'm just not proficient enough in poetry. I don't know. Restore 10 health to yourself. May as well. If your opponent is heartbroken or dispirited, deal 15 damage. I'll take that. inflict 1 in heartbreak for every gloom word in the last poem. And I guess we'll add some passion. Yeah, it seems like we're doing pretty well so far. Yeah, I'm just not invested in the poetry part. It's just an AI writing a bunch of gobbledygook. Like, I could just read a book of poetry if that was as the interest. It doesn't really come into the gameplay at any point so far. Okay. All right. Well, we got a whole bunch of stuff going on here. We don't have a lot of gloom, so we'll just go ahead and use that now. Love. If your last poem contains a brilliant word, inflict soul burn. Yeah. Love, greed, forest. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and play this like I would any normal game. Yeah, this part isn't really doing anything for me. And maybe it'll change as time goes on. Alright. So, I don't really have anything here. Gloom. Is there any gloom I can use? Passion, brilliance, nature. Brilliance, nature, passion. This should about take care of it. Actually, I could go ahead and just end the fight now. Fire, storm, and sword. Yeah, the problem with using AI in this capacity, I could understand it if I was competing with the AI. That would have something interesting, but I'm not really seeing the value of an AI going back and forth. Like, the AI answers for me, the I answer for the AI. I feel like this mechanic could have been implemented better. Maybe I don't understand it well enough yet. Meryl won a duel. Okay. Good for you, Meryl. You're already gifted and with talent, growing as the trees do. Okay. Want to fight again? Want to go 2 for 2? This time I'm not gonna go easy on you. Silence. I don't really... Is there anything I can do here? Silence, river, and forest. I'll just go with that. And I could probably go ahead and speed this up a little bit. Damage, soul burn. Of course, I decide to go ahead and get rid of the thing that can cure soul burn. Silence of a world unknown, I wonder, I am fain to know. So strange a river runs between such wondrous forest and snow. But oh, my soul cannot be that thou art ever there. Alright. If you say so, Clanker. Let's see what we can do here. If your opponent is heartbroken, I don't really have that option right now. So, storm, duty, and life. Why not? Let's try it. Today with hope we turn our eyes from cold shadows of despair, courage and love and faith arise, and smiling welcome has been the dawn of light within the dark, the fire, the sunshine, and the queen. I'm feeling the blue curtains. Let's see here. He is not to be bought with gold, but having in what he holds most dear, life and duty under his command, to bravely battle in the storm and die with courage when we fear. What dictates each of these? Okay, none of these are working so far, so we're going to go ahead and go Sun, Sword, and Rage. What dictates whether where each one lands? Like how many words come up based on what's told. The red deer is in the forest. They sleep wherever 'twas green. For they dream all day with their fawns, where never a river is seen, and the sea has no motion. Oh well, where I from world away. All right. If your last poem contains mostly nature words, select one card from your discard pile. Alright, so now I've got a few gloom, right? Now strike the sword with wrath that strikes the rage, and knows not why, and blood doth all on me stream, I who have seen him die. Felt my warm eyes upon the sun, shed hotly tears. Wait a second. 1, 2, 3. So the last one has the most words. Did I just skip over that detail? I feel like that is important. If your opponent is heartbroken or dispirited, deal 15 damage. Okay. So it'll be passion, passion, passion. Oh, okay. So let's try this. Memory, love, and tears. This will produce. This should, if I've got the system down, this should produce one ego and 5 passion. Let's try it out. Yeah, and this will produce that right there will produce 3 nature and 3 passion. All right. So, let's see here. Let's go ahead and go with if your last poem contained 2 brilliance words, draw. Let's see here. If memory's tears were shed. That's weird. Am I misunderstanding how this works? Okay, let's go ahead and go with greed, sorrow, and silence. I heard rain in the gust, and wind, make music sweet along the way. Yeah, it seems random almost. I'm afraid I don't entirely understand how it's supposed to work. Okay, so we got a bunch of damage to work with. So we could just go full brilliance here. Yeah, full brilliance. Yep, I will definitely have to go ahead and menu options Let's speed things up a little bit. Highlight words in poetry will be underlined and further annotated. Let's go ahead and go with that. Let's see if we can get further more detail. All right. He was born from, for death, and in his new life begun. Life, brilliant, synonyms. Okay, what is the point of this? I didn't even use death last time. How does this work? I'm sure that there's a logic behind it, but I'm not understanding it. Brilliance. Cure soul burn. And storm. Nature all around. Or I could just go ahead and end the fight right now. There we go. 1 of 3 cards. I mean, her cards kind of suck. Or 100 gold. If your opponent is dispirited, deal 20 damage. That sounds pretty powerful. Yeah, dispirited seems pretty easy to deal. Defeated again. I shouldn't go so easy on you. Let's go ahead and do this one more time. All right. Rage, duty, and heartbreak. Not going to give but bitter grief and tears with rage of heart for anguish of my breast. My duty is love, not nor will it rest till all the world is dead with me possessed. Okay. Let's go with gloom, storm, and sun. Honestly, I think we can go ahead and make it faster. There we go. Yeah, I don't think that we're losing anything by speeding things up. Forest. And if your opponent is heartbroken, if your last despair, let's go with greed. We can't really use anything else. Yeah, I'm not really sure how this all works. Sword, life, knife, sword. These are all good cards. Sure, let's just go with that. See what happens. Deal 10 damage, deal 10 damage, and it cures soul burn. If your last poem, okay, yep. Dispirit and Heartbreak. Now we get to go ahead and try some Gloom. Or Memory. If your last poem contained mostly Gloom words, inflict 2 to Spirit. 10 damage, Rage. There we go. Rejuvenate yourself. Deal 6 damage for every nature poem in your last poem. I mean, that would be good if you go ahead and like have all nature. But that comes to like, if you have like a pure nature deck, that could work. I'm gonna be honest. I'm still a little bamboozled. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and call this one here. That's Verses of Enchantment so far. I have no idea what I'm doing. See ya. Bye.